the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
Now, officially, the Economic Committee of West African States Court Bartime or Lagos in Nigeria are communicating to the Office of the President, represented by the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Aklutinga Ayini, say they should prepare to open their defense in a lawsuit filed by suspended Ghanaian Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Araba Esaba Saki Tukun. Last week, in an ECOWAS Court, informal Ghana, for the Office of the President, the Office of the Attorney General, and the sitting Chief Justice, acting Chief Justice, say they've received a lawsuit filed by suspended Chief Justice. Se kwanya Ghana man penyini na pound for denwa faso no a proper infringement on her human rights. Enunti omon frasem. Now, Osha ECOWAS Court. Let me read this important information to clear all doubt. Kofobi busasa ECOWAS Court there. Again, 2 million or more Ghana and you don't read. Okay, Kenya. There was a treaty signed on the 28th of May 1975 to promote socio-economic integration of all ECOWAS members. And that treaty, Ghana was present. And it was established by Article 1 of the Lagos Treaty. That led to the formation of the ECOWAS Court. The all member state president, Domosa Shasie, say ECOWAS Court will to me say socio-economic problems say what the community no omutu bi trust no mudi. Now, treaty chrono anka 1975. Oma revise ya. Oma revise in 1993. Ghana was represented by Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, according to the documented domain. Another revision also in 2005. Ghana was again represented by His Excellency John Ajekun Kufuor. Omo revise bion in 2012. Ghana was represented by His Excellency the late Professor J.E. Mills. The revisions about Ghana has never abstained from the treaty that led to the establishment of the ECOWAS Court. Now, we are jurisdiction. Omo din sembe brebe. Kesepe womu a violation of human rights of members of the state and government officials within the ECOWAS state. Inti sa way so and a suspended Chief Justice Gina Yene or the Atabri Ghana man penyini na pamfo akwako jine ECOWAS Court, because according to the suspended Chief Justice, Nyoma Ekosu nyina no a direct infringement on her human right. Now, the charges, relief sought by the suspended Chief Justice, and the evidence provided by the suspended Chief Justice. Nyoma mi ense nyina na enedie ECOWAS Court akani nyina abomu. Now I forward it to the Office of the President, led by the Attorney General, say they should open their defense. Ti krata no ha yabeken kan mu nsem nyina. Now, ohwe omo dwomadi mu a omo two different benches. Omo do mo friend the preliminary bench, and omo do mo friend the active bench. Omo preliminary bench ne say wo file case and go to the active bench, a preliminary for no omo transcription no mu say, is there a cause for answers to be made to lawsuit awodia bar and sound no my inform nipa kro no awo charge no say assume say na obenti ya be file this lawsuit to the amount it is say ho na be answer questions say through preliminary ho no mu hwehwem na omo hunu say as a lawsuit na file here no it doesn't hold merit until who hia kwase be inform nipa wa file de tia no so obeyi ne ho ano a ye inform nipa no kra say a lawsuit has been filed at the ECOWAS Court against him or her. It's a preliminary bench in Jitum said there are certain answers to be given to that lawsuit. No one forwarded the acquire command the active bench. Now or more inform on the charges and the relief sought by Nipa or filing case. Now or more she said that on best education said they be able to me prepare actively your defense to the case filed against you. This is how the ECOWAS Court works. And nothing the last week, say the ECOWAS Court has decided, say the government has some questions to answer with respect to the lawsuit filed by the suspended Chief Justice. And today, the active bench and officially, or my informal Ghana penny for, yeah, we can kind the herald newspaper I want making kind sa vital information ye free enti over the Herald newspaper omo capture charges are suspended Chief Justice de koda ECOWAS Court reliefs are all paid ye free the ECOWAS Court and na evidence or provide here to attest to these charges in tier or seek these reliefs sa pepepe na mremu enema no etie now the suspended Chief Justice evidence number 1 provided to the ECOWAS Court krata a free Ghana man panyina so announcing her suspension na krata no emu no ensem ewo mu no say the president in consultation with the Council of State I established a prima facie case at the Chief Justice hence yen suspending. Interestingly, according to the suspended Chief Justice, krata or the ECOWAS Court, the letter failed to acknowledge the specific charges with which the prima facie case was established. This is according to krata, suspended Chief Justice Jakoma the ECOWAS Court, which said, free the office of the President Becca and Nsa, telling her of her suspension. The letter failed to acknowledge the specific charges upon which a prima facie case was established. Well, that is 1. 2. Krata failed to establish where and when an investigation was conducted into those charges to ascertain that truly the suspended Chief Justice such charges na buabono and a prima facie case can be established against her. And also Krata failed to elaborate say charge way and a petitioners in the buy na ye hwehwemu no charge way ye who say Chief Justice then get through to konu edifo enunti and ye gyina so e dey establish a prima facie case in the etiano. And also according to the suspended Chief Justice, the letter failed to acknowledge when and where and how series of investigations were conducted into those charges to come to a conclusion that or you're guilty of those charges, hence a prima facie case can be established on those charges. The letter failed to explain. And I'm quoting say, first demands that the president must specify the charges and provide reasons for concluding that a prima facie case. She contends that this process was arbitrary and capricious, violating the standards of a judicious and objective assessment expected under Ghanaian constitutional law. To honor the suspended Chief Justice Chirimwa, Nyoma akoso ni nyina ye dey establish a prima facie case ditia no. Who ne say arbitrary, very very capricious. Ya just say etietia nhihye ya eda ho no mo say obi patent training wo mayimu a. It say ediso as according to Ghana's constitutional law. Now, the reliefs sought by her ladyship, as according to court documents from the ECOWAS Court. 1. A declaration that her suspension violated her right to a fair hearing under Article 7 of the African Charter, Clause 6 of ECOWAS laws under human rights violation. To her ladyship, Chiremua, the suspension did kind of crime. A violating right. A violating right because, according to the suspended Chief Justice, Odi kan kraten in framam, ansa na nensa kakrata, edefri Ghana man penyini ho say, she's been suspended, thereby subjecting her to public ridicule and mockery. Subjecting her to public ridicule and mockery. The DNT and as a Chief Justice, or better the suspension one from Mamuni Radio so and sample and enseka krata. Say Ghana man payini are suspended. 2. A declaration that the investigative panel set up to probe her conduct lacked independence and impartiality. Say enhwehwemu panel a yɛteyɛ sɛ yɛnhwehwɛ ɔno suspended chief justice ne nneyɛ ne suban ne kwan ɔfa so ɔyɛ ne dwuma. It lacks independence. It lacks impartiality. 3. Said the suspension and even the formation of the investigative panel to probe her exposed her to public ridicule and violated her right to dignity because she wasn't aware of Nyama Ekoso nyina. Her ya ni nyina no was already in the public space and Sankran officially you communicated actually. Say you suspended no. You form committee dia probe no. Na onim ho hwe. Enso na nyina down from am. Na nipa twe ne srania basa ye di na tem ye sopa no kan semfa ne ho. Mi wa wo kun e wo ma. And sample no officially. Ono a asam ne fa ne ho no. Ghana by inform no. Ya ni nyina what evidence to attest to say. Public documentaries. Ya ni ye de fa ne ho. Radio documentaries, appointees of this government, in the media space, and sample no asam officially communicated the and it subjected her to public ridicule and violated her right to dignity. And an order directed Ghana to reinstate her as Chief Justice immediately and halt the ongoing removal process until proper fair hearing standards are met. Ebion, hana asam ni wono, some kese ni hana wono. An award of 10 million United States dollars as compensation for moral and reputational damage suffered. And he immediately reinstating Yansa award no a sum of $10 million. Compensation because morally, reputationally, she suffered enough damage. She has suffered enough damage. Ebion, ECOWAS Court, assign direct Ghana, near establishing clear procedural rules, very clear procedural rules. As to 1, the investigation of the Chief Justice, ensuring compliance with both domestic and international human rights obligations. Because also, they come ECOWAS Court to say, 1, the lawyer for crime representing no. So no ama, your man the lawyer se crowd hearing. Obe no na committee na take a decision. Near the abreno. Meanwhile, the lawyers, according to the right, a fair representation of it. By the way, this is not the case. The lawyers have access to their phones and laptops. Meanwhile, lawyers representing the petitioners have access to all this. They say, piano. She is not given a fair hearing. I say, Yakoya Diani Ba, the Ababona Manie. According to her, ECOWAS Court, and Francis Yamu establishing clear procedural rules. Say, Embrano say ni yedima, no biagino na hofine. Ya sa rules no, and was a Ghana ha yemre idea juma. And I woko wiase finance so mre de adwuma for human rights ho ene ne just a dance and ye ni pepepe. In her motion, Chief Justice Gertrude Tukonu requests that Ghana be ordered to suspend all proceedings for her removal from office until the case is fully determined. The case no yen determined. Afekra na egusu probu no ye hwehwemu ni ade. Enti na according to her, proceedings follow to her removal nyina ya suspending nyina. Yen determine case no akasa say truly charges ne bobɔ no ana. Charge petitioners ne de buy we can. Let's conduct a free and fair investigations into all those charges. Let her bring her responses to all those charges. And then let us establish, say, charges in a bubonwana. That is the proper way to go. Ebion. Or that say, she should continue to enjoy all privileges and entitlement of her office, whilst once the case is being fully determined, because she was constitutionally sworn in as a Chief Justice. Tiejina mbraso enye sworn in as a Chief Justice. Asem ne nya hwehwe mu ya, you can't deprive her of her privileges and entitlement at the office as a Chief Justice. Hence, ECOWAS Court will ensure so continue or enjoy all those privileges and entitlement because case in Wankasa, it has not been fully determined. She is seeking an order. Say Abai should refrain from any further actions that could aggravate her situation or undermine the ECOWAS Court's eventual ruling. Charges need be said. ECOWAS Court on Fatabon to Abai so. Se won koto na mobia ya de ekoso no crown e be sign ama situation aye worse e be aggravated na in future ruling ya ECOWAS Court de beba no enye den enko undermine that ruling intino yemfa tabo into any further actions so now lawyer ni all representing the suspended Chief Justice e wo the ECOWAS Court a Nigerian renowned lawyer, your friend, Femi Falana, son of Falana and Falana Chambers, and a representative. Now, Nyama Mekinka now were received at the ECOWAS Court registry in Abuja on Friday, the 12th of May. And the ECOWAS Court has since served on Ghana's Attorney General on the same Friday now, and that the Ghana's Attorney General has 5 days to respond to her motion for provisional measures and 30 days to answer the main application. The way any Nsem kakra free the corridors of the ECOWAS Court.
So once you decide to go into that rerun election, then it means what me are prepared enough in terms of personal security and the security of Nkrofo Babeboa. Not knowing any party mamia free echo election unprepared. As usual, said the Omoya in 2024 no NPP. I don't even know whether I should say NPP or I should say Equia Free because the party says Uncle Equia Free say Obeko. So Equia meaning to make us say Equia Free and friends. As I call into that particular election unprepared, they had nothing, no security, nothing. Relying on the same Ghana police service or say 3 police stations, me more hobino. They were relying on them, say Umbesign Abom Huban, of which they know say Enyadia Ghana police service for Ebe Bob Huban and they are caught into that election. So ya shall say eto aba. Ebo be say non krom and who say and ye may be a koso. Now casualty about first was a Ghana police service officer in the person of the second chief superintendent Lumo. I say oh yeah divisional police commander ewa Delta division. Now who say Papa and Central phobia so Asante Patrol ya roll videos in mine. You say GH1 in Central B. Papa penny mua what the police before so bet me do chief superintendent no. That's what kwenum kama. Papa penny mu na Papa and Central ni asum ewo honum. Na ni nyina ne say Oyan DC ni police penny no Oyan DC ni and I'll show you why I may say Oyan DC ni. And that was where it started. Any who videos of other NDC tax ewo hono na oma dress ewo kwan bi chese hantie ni video ni so papa no na etenten a mu se obobon central no o hwena sum hwena sum sa owie se dua bi nyada fam ho o fa sa kwada ya hwene tirim e de aka ho e se afa ni chief superintendent Lumo on the divisional police commander ewa Delta division na ye hwena sum so police service a release statement say omaye so Asante fa the picture ne bra e bia na tiefo ahu so papa we the nti amese oye NDC ni no ne picture ni papa we ope bia na ni afi no oye chief supu oya NDC nim uya the same day na ye to aba no na oni TV3 nsentwerefo oni TV3 nsentwereni etewo seresere because TV3 for can be my NDC for nti TV3 NDC station nti the papa no new on the right no TV3 there NDC for station nti TV3 nsentwereni eba election coverage no oni ne bench so kama abonkomo aseresere agiomani because the party back na oho GH1 nsentwereni dia ona adwene ne say GH1 ni no report na bia oye no na ekotia NDC njisa na tie dia obehwe nasum na agya ohwe nasum anya asem keto nti eba asa no na yehu se anima hodo bebiri akoso na fast forward me fa nko ba bia ye bo ha wakumsen no mu no odoko methodist na ye kobo ha wakumsen na sante cars na ede boys ne ba ye bebo wo mu no police for national security forecast asante fa video ne bra so the state sponsored attacks wey police for first one white be the animu sa white car no national security for car ahani the national security for cars na edi animu na boys no editi motorbikes no ebiti other pickups mu we no na ba ebe attack no so we no state sponsored attack on NPP4 and omoba no na am specific instruction samo kono enipa bi wo hono ma monkwachi wo mo embo wo mo na according to eyewitness no na o say miracles aboagigina adoko ho na oni CTFM4 interview nti samoa na all kan interview ni mu no na share boys na mutibo bi gina ho na ofa phone no from say miracles aboagi ni ha wakumsi wo hanti omo mra emebo wo mo enti wei any cars edi on buy you have seen say cars no national security cars and the boys no edi animu the boys no buy sa brantie yi esa mo ko hwe ba o because mo che sa brantie yi de ne koye ye nim ba bi o mo de ne koye o mo che de ne ko sa da no afi asante wo hwe ne sa fa be bre no mo wura police station wo akọ attacking our kumsin no na fa no so edi akiri so you see from the video I had your room you see from the video back no obehu entrance ni nyina weye abro ma bedu a omo sisi efficacy nim and mame more report na weye as reported by CTFM sorry meye na me fa CTFM for correspondent or report here me fa the video no emma na wahwe so police for no gina bonten omo enkahwe na NDC guys no ewram na omoko asorte enipa ewo ho so mama say me sabeka
now at the St. Peter Society that there's been a clear case of assault and they are marching towards unbelievable, clearly defying the police order. The breakthrough, this is unprecedented, this is unbelievable, this is absolutely shocking. Wow, there's a tussle ongoing right now. There's a tussle ongoing. It's telling violent. It's telling chaos.
All right. So where near question? What in Centrani no? CTFM Centrani main farm movement. No, I can say movement today, and I want to be MPP. So CTFM Centrani, I say unbelievable. Say yet in the 21st century, yeah, Kotoba. Na police for Jinaho. Na omato ashe inipasu sa. Now the same scene na Santa Pacho me send you a slow motion of Abrantia Noa or too far Riemoa and then you say ya bandits before Abonabaso CFNO the flying python. Say ordinity epem mami babies how a kumsen a yam NDC for 88 so and the videos need be extra monano. It's better market at you, yes. Ben market echi se wrestling no na woto ho hwe be oto ne ho firiye e de ni ti epem maybe sa kumsin former minister of state former cabinet minister oto ne ho nam hwemu sa no de ti e de apem ne yam wei ene ne course so omobo maybe sa kumsin etiatia no tiatia na ya ase na omo